There are so many different mixes available for plants these days, and I think we're going to have to ask Gareth to demystify some of these. I mean, surely you could just plant something in any soil and it's going to grow.
Generally, you can plant anything in any soil and it should grow, almost like our infamous little hemp super soil, because it's weed.
Oh,
and a weed is a weed.
A weed is a weed, and that's why it's called weed, because it can grow anywhere. So why do you have to have something that's so specific to that? Is it just is it like a marketing ploy?
Definitely not a marketing ploy.
Okay.
When you're planting weed, ideally, you want the best buds out at the end of your growing phase. So if you're putting the best in, you're going to get the best out. If you just plant it in your normal soil, you're not going to get very much out of it.
But they grow like weeds. You don't need to look after them that well. Come on. Not what I believe. I don't know. I've never ever grown any. No. So
me neither.
It's a new thing. Remember, you're only allowed to grow what you can smoke. Okay? You're not allowed to grow for like selling onwards. Just remember, that is the law. But why? What makes this different? What is in here that actually makes it really good for hemp? And it's a hemp super soil.
Hemp super soil.
Yep.
Growing marijuana, ideally everything needs to be organic. So inside here you've got your, let's call them organic materials, from compost to bark to perlite, vermiculite, cocoa peat, Canadian peat. But then we also add a bit of fertilizer in, but it has to be organic.
Okay.
So we add bone meal and blood meal. So you get your nitrogen and your phosphates in.
Okay, so there's a whole science behind all of these things. I mean, I'm just looking here. You've got indoor potting soil. Why is potting soil different to, say, just using compost?
Potting soil, you need more substance in it to grow. And then with your indoor potting soil, our indoor potting soil, your pH is a bit lower and it's a bit lighter. You'll feel this bag is very light.
Oh, because that is a problem if you've got like pots. They get very heavy. You can't just take normal soil from the garden and put it into a pot.
And unfortunately, normal soil expands and contracts.
Yeah.
And it'll crack your pot.
Okay.
With water and heat, the soil actually contracts. So this is ideal for indoors, but not outdoors to the best extent, because it doesn't retain as much moisture.
Okay, so you need to have something which will actually be well draining, though, when you're in a pot.
Yeah. Very well draining.
Not you in the pot, I mean the plant in the pot. So what other ones we've got here? I mean, I know that there's one such as a African violet mix. Why does it have to have its own specific type of mix? I mean, firstly, what kind of conditions, where do they live? Where do they come from?
They come from East Africa. So we're trying to replicate where they come from with any of the plants that grow in our country or we import from all over the world. So we're just trying to replicate ideal conditions for them to grow in, because, like humans, you grow in your best conditions.
Yeah, that's true. You can plant everything in a pot, actually. Yeah. But when it comes to the St. Paulia, that's the African violet, of course, I would have just said, on my granny's windowsill in the kitchen is where they come from, because that's where you usually see them. I mean, I think they've been in our lives since we were all children.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody who's never had an African violet in their house.
It has unfortunately faded away. Very few nurseries keep it now because it's dying with our old grannies.
Yeah, so we'll bring it back. Make St. Paulia's famous again. Right?
Exactly.
But we've got all of these different mixes. So is it just basically the way you put it together, the stuff that you add? I mean, I see you've got like perlite.
We got perlite.
What is that? It's very light.
Very light. Natural product.
Yeah.
Ideal for aeration of your soil. So if you're planting in a pot in your house, the more money you want to spend on your product or your plant, adding different components to it, ideal, because a lot of our potting mixes are sometimes a bit heavy.
Yeah.
To lighten it up, you don't want a heavy pot in your house if you want to move it around. So you add something like perlite. You also get a product called vermiculite.
That's the one that's a bit shiny.
A bit shiny, also for aeration, but it also absorbs moisture.
Okay.
And releases it. The plant knows how to take
away, suck it out of there. Those roots, they just suck the goodness out of everything. And it's not a bad thing, by the way.
Exactly. So you want to play with different types of mixes for your different types of plants. You've got a succulent mix as well. Succulents, we all know, like good drainage.
Yeah. Sandy soil. Yeah.
Sandy soil, but they love water. We've had many customers asking, why is my plant dying? I bought an aloe. We asked, did you water it? 6 months ago.
Oh. Yeah.
But it's an aloe. No, it still needs water once a week.
Yeah.
But it wants to drain. So that's why we've got mixes like your succulent mix that allows for that drainage and allows for those types of plants, cactuses, succulents, anything like that, to grow in that.
Okay, so the right mix is the number one thing when it comes to making sure that your plants are going to get the right thing, not just when it comes to nutrients, but also to water. So spend the money on getting those basics right and have a look at the amazing range that Bark Unlimited has, and go and make sure that your pots are doing the best stuff. I think I'm going to take some of this home. I need some. I managed to kill all my awkwards. What can I say?
Use the right soil.
Yep, just use the right soil.